Hi, I'm Liam. I've been working here at RVs Unlimited for a few summers now. I started in the shop doing PDIs and I've progressed into the sales position. I'm just going to do a quick orientation of your trailer. This one's a 312 Vic, but they're all very similar. So we're going to start with this one and go around the outside of the trailer and then go through the inside and explain everything so that it all makes sense to you when you get your trailer for the first time. First, we're going to start here. This is your propane tanks. Depending on the trailer, it could come with 20 pounders, 30 pounders, or just one 20 pounder. This flap right here just kind of gives you quick access to the top of the propane. So you can turn them on, turn them off. You can even adjust which tank is drawing from the trailer. Easier way to do that would just be to take this off. And this is our valve to kind of point you. You might want to just bring the camera around here to which propane tank you're going to use. So usually what I recommend, point it to one. When it starts to go empty, then you turn it to the next one, and that's going to draw from this propane tank, and then you can take this one to get filled. The other important thing at the front of this trailer that not all trailers have, but this one does, is a battery disconnect. This one's very simple to use. You have your battery, which would be installed here for you, and your two leads. And this is just an on and off switch essentially, so that way when your trailer's parked at your house, it's not going to draw the battery and it's not going to kill it. So that way when you go out for your first camping trip and you put the battery on, it's going to be fully charged for you, ready to go. And with this one, you can actually take the key out so that nobody can mess around with your battery or your electrical system. And then you just plop it back in. That's the off position, that's the on position, and when it's in the off position, nothing can be drawn from the trailer. So your CO detector, fridge, any other small appliances, it's all going to be cut off from power. This is your front tongue jack. Again, not all trailers come with a power tongue jack, especially the little ones or park models, but this one does. Very simple to use. They'll either say like extend, retract, up, down. You just go up and down with it. I'll just turn this back on. And then they all have a light as well, so if you're backing up in the dark kind of thing, it's a little handy as well. The power tongue jack and a lot of the other 12-volt systems in the trailer can be run off the battery. They don't have to be plugged in. They can also run off the vehicle as well. So if you do have a truck or an SUV with a 7-pin connector, you can plug it in, and if you don't have the battery or power, you can run your tongue jack up and down with that. Here we have one of our front storage compartments in this unit, pass-through storage. And then this trailer comes with a like a water hookup system all in one, so it's all in one place. You don't have to go looking around the trailer for your fresh water or your city water. And it's very simple to use. It also has your outdoor shower here as well. So quick connect, just like an air hose or any other kind of quick connect. You can put it on here, turn on the water, hot and cold tap, and you can use this for washing off the dog, that kind of thing, wash off the feet before I go inside the trailer after being on the beach. And then what's also really important in here is your city water fill and your tank fill. So if you're at a site or at your house with a water connection, like a plumbed line, you just twist it onto here, and then you just take this. You might want to come a bit closer here, and it's actually got a diagram of what position you need to have them in. And if you're filling it up and you're having it on city water, you just put it in this spot, and then you hook your water hose up to that, and you have plumbed water. You don't have to use your water pump or anything like that on the trailer. But if you're in a situation where you're going to be off grid and you need to use that water pump, you're going to turn it into this position and you're going to fill your tank. And then the fresh water tank is what it's called, so fill that guy up, and then as long as you have that filled and your valve closed, your water pump can draw from that fresh water tank.
So just to clarify, the fresh water tank is for when you're like not at a site with water,
yeah,
and it fills up your tank. And then the city water connection is when you're at a site. And
the naming doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's not really like a city water, it's just a plumbed water connection. So essentially you don't need to use your water pump. The pressure that you're getting from the water hose connected to the trailer is going to give you that pressure with all your taps, your showers, all that kind of stuff. Another thing that this trailer has that a lot of the new trailers come with is a black tank flush, and it's a really nice feature where once you're done draining your black and gray tank, it's going to have a spinner inside the tank, and you hook your water hose up to that, and it kind of cleans it out a bit more after you're done draining your tanks there. So we'll come back to that in a second. We're just going to pop over here to where the sewage port is on this trailer, and it's labeled up here. You should always have 2 stickers telling you which side's gray and which side's black. Another nice feature with this trailer is that it has a black handle for the black tank and a gray handle for the gray tank, so you like kind of foolproof, you don't really mess that up as well. Not a big deal. I usually recommend to pull your black tank first because it's the dirtier, it's from the toilet, right? So get all that stuff out and then leave it open and then pull your gray so that it kind of flushes out the end of the line as well, just before you put that black tank flush on as well. And so what you want to do is when you have your hose hooked up and you've got it down in the drain, you're going to hook it up, you're going to pull the black, then pull the gray, leave them both open. You're going to take your hose over to that black tank flush we looked at before, and you can hook your water hose up that, let it run a couple minutes just to flush out that black tank a little bit more. I also recommend to have some tank chemicals as well. Plop one of those in the toilet after you've closed those guys and have a little bit of water in there, and that'll keep the tank fresh and breaking down everything else that might be in there kind of thing. And another, you might need to bring the camera under here, but what we have under here on that side right there, so if you were to fill up that fresh tank, you don't necessarily want to drive with your fresh tank full, maybe like a half, a quarter, that kind of thing, because it is a lot of weight bouncing around. That's your drain, so it's in the on position right now, so if there was water in it, it'd be draining out, and then you just turn it perpendicular to the line, and that's going to close it up. So if you're at a site or at a campground way out north or something like that, and you don't have water and you bring a little bit with you or you fill up on your way, you can close that off and you're going to keep your fresh tank full and it's not going to drain out on you.
Is that what people refer to as their the low point drain?
It's actually different. So that's just the freshwater tank drain.
Yeah.
It's just going to drain your freshwater tank where you would fill it up there. Your low point drains are actually right here. It's kind of hard to see on this unit. They tuck them up pretty high. But you have a red and a blue, basically just your hot water and your cold water, and that's going to be for all your lines within the trailer. And when those should be in the off position as well, when you ever have city water, fresh water, because the water's just going to drain right out of those, right? So make sure those are closed when you're using any water systems in the trailer. But when you go to winterize it, if you're going to winterize it yourself or have us do it, we would empty those lines and it drains all the water from all those lines.
Would you use that in any other circumstance other than winterizing?
It's really just to drain your lines. So if you wanted to drain your lines during the summer to get all that maybe water that was in there out so that you have fresh water when you go camping again, you can do that as well. But it's just kind of, it is your connection to draining all of your plumbing lines. If maybe you had a leak or something like that and you want to drain them really quickly, that's one way to do it. I'm going to talk about this first. This is so this trailer is equipped with a detachable power cord. Some trailers, new and used, or older trailers I should say, will come with a power cord that you pull all the way out. This one's a little different, and a lot of the new trailers are coming with detachable power cords. So basically what you do is you line it up and then you just twist this collar on afterwards, and then you plug your power into the shore power at your house or at your site or something like that. This is your hot water tank. This is a gas electric water tank. Not necessarily all hot water tanks have the ability to run on gas and electric. This one does. This one is also an anode style. So this is is this a Suburban? There's two kinds of tanks. There's a Suburban and there's DINETTE. One has a tank that's made of a certain material where you don't have to have an anode. And what the anode does with the other tank is that it collects all the minerals and stuff that's in your water, iron, that kind of thing, and eats it all up, and you replace that anode over time. You don't want to get it, you want to keep an eye on that, and you want to switch out your anode if it's getting a little bit old looking and down to the wire kind of thing. Not a whole lot out here to do with your hot water tank. There's no real buttons or anything to press on this unit. Some units, however, do have an on-off switch, like a master on-off switch out here. So if you're trying to use your hot water tank and you're using the buttons inside, that might be why, is because it's turned off out here. This one doesn't have that, but what this does have is that anode. So basically what you want to make sure of at all times if you're ever using your hot water tank is that it is filled up with water before you use it on gas or electric. Another important thing too is that if you are draining your hot water tank, because you would put a socket on here to drain that hot water tank, that you don't have pressure in the system. Because if you did have the water pump on or a city water connection and it's in the summerized mode, it's not in winterized mode, this will blow off at you and could hurt somebody, kind of thing, right? So you want to make sure that you either do the low point drains, you empty those, or you just relieve the pressure in the system so that way this doesn't blow off at you.
So how do you relieve the pressure again?
Just open a tap. As long as you have no city water connection on or the fresh water tank and you're using the pump, then you're not gonna have any pressure in the system. So another way to check that I don't necessarily recommend, but another way to check is this is your pressure relief valve. And if there is water in the system, you can pull that and a little bit will come out. It'll also relieve the pressure in the system before you take your anode out.
And how do you make sure that there's water in the hot water tank there?
Well, one way to check is using this valve right here.
Yeah.
Another way to check is just to make sure, go to the hot water tank on the inside. You might need to remove a panel to get to it. If you winterize it yourself, you'd be very familiar with that. And if the lines are pointed, there's like a valve, right? That's pointed towards your tank. That's gonna mean that it's in the on position. It's gonna fill your tank. And then when you fill it up with water, you're gonna hear that tank fill up with water.
So it automatically fills up with water when you put water into the
Exactly.
system.
When you put in city water or like you turn your pump on, it's gonna start filling that tank immediately. And that's your easiest way to check it would just be to take this valve and a little bit of water is gonna drip out. I don't recommend doing that a lot because you don't want to damage your pressure relief valve because then you'll have to replace it. Another feature that sometimes comes with the hot water tanks is two reset buttons here, and very seldom you're ever going to have to use these, but if there was an issue where it trips something in the hot water tank, you can come out here and you push those two guys in and that'll reset your hot water tank. Another important thing, not as big a deal where the positioning is of this one, but depending on where your hot water tank is, it might be on the other side of the trailer, it might be on the back. You don't want to put up anything against it that's might get damaged because of the heat when you're running it on gas. It does get pretty warm right there, so if you're leaning chairs up against it, you could have an issue there. The last thing right here in this position of the trailer is your furnace outlet. So if, again, with the hot water tank, if you are running the furnace in the spring and fall months, you don't want to put anything up against there because that is the exhaust and it is pretty warm. So it could melt anything that's up against it. So at the back of the trailer, we have a receiver here. So what this one's meant for is like carrying bicycles or one of those racks you can put a cooler on, kind of, or a generator on the back of the trailer. This one's only rated for 250 pounds. You'll notice some trailers, fifth wheels, bigger trailers, are gonna have a receiver and they can do actually quite a bit more. They could tow a boat possibly. When you're ever going to use the receiver in the back, you wanna check, there should be a sticker that tells you your weight limit. Otherwise, consult your manuals or a dealer like us. We'll be able to tell you kind of what you can put on the back of that trailer because you don't want to load it down and break something. Another nice feature that this trailer comes with is reverse lights. Not all trailers come with that, so if you're doing your check when you're backing up or before you leave, you'll check your lights and everything. Some have reverse lights, some don't. So this one would. Another important thing is that if a trailer has a ladder on the back, that means it has a walkable roof. So you can get up there, you're gonna wanna check your seals and all that kind of stuff, right? And go up there if there's ever debris on the top of the trailer. If it doesn't have a ladder on the top of it, you can still walk on the roof, but you can't walk on all portions. You need to walk on just the trusses where it's supported, right? So this way you can walk anywhere on top, but if it doesn't have a ladder, you need to get your own ladder beside the trailer and just be a little bit careful. Make sure you're on top of the trusses when you're checking your seals and stuff on the roof of the trailer.
How do I know I'm walking on the trusses?
The best way to see if you're walking on the trusses, I guess, would be to take your ladder up and push down with your hand on top of the trailer, and you'll feel like a hard pop. You should be able to see the trusses as well. You can they're visually there. Maybe we should even take a video of that, possibly. But for instance, our Sonics and some of our smaller trailers that don't have a ladder on the back, you still want to go up there and check stuff. But another thing too, if you're ever nervous about checking your roof, is just to take a ladder, and it's a little time consuming, but just move it all the way around the trailer rather than having to get up on the roof and risk going through your roof or something like that, or damaging it in any way. Some trailers will have an outdoor kitchen with a TV. Some are just gonna have a port similar to this one, either at the back or kind of towards the middle, usually on the passenger side of the trailer. You're gonna have a receptacle here, so you can use that for anything you wanna use outside of the trailer. This is a GFI plug, similar to ones that you'll see near the sinks in the bathroom inside the trailer. And something I hear once in a while is that people will plug something into there and it won't work. And the reason for that is that it's probably tripped the breaker in the GFI plug. So you're gonna wanna go into your bathroom, is typically where they are, and you'll reset it. There's basically one reset switch for all the GFI plugs on the trailer. There's also a cable input here too. So if you did wanna mount a TV or have a TV sitting here, you would plug it into there and then you have power for the TV as well. This is our outdoor kitchen in this unit. They can all be a little bit different. This one comes with a flat top grill. Most of our outdoor kitchens on the units that we sell come with some kind of cooktop, and they're all going to be like a quick connect propane hookup. And what that means is similar to the water hookup on the other side. You're going to have a quick connect right here, right near the unit. You should be able to see it fairly clearly, and you'll just have to pop it off. It'll have a connector like this. You just push that back and forth when you're putting it on. And it also has a valve on both ends. So when it's in the on position, it's going to be in line with the propane, and when it's in the off position, it's going to be perpendicular to the line. And actually when it is in the on position, it won't allow you to take it off, so it's kind of a safety feature. So if you're ever having trouble getting it off, you just need to make sure it's in the off position before you remove it from the system. I can just put this on here really quick. You actually might want to come over here and switch spots with me. So you basically just push it right on the place, push that back, and then push that up, and then you're good. It's in line, and then you can turn your line on there. So just twist it a bit. And then underneath the trailer, we also have where the other quick connect is. And this is where it's gonna hook up to your propane lines. So you're gonna get in there, basically do the exact same thing. It's just the male end. So you'll get in here, you'll take this end, you'll put it in there, push this back, and then pull it forward. And then you're gonna turn your propane line on just like that. Similar to the other one, you need to have it off before you take this off. Some outdoor kitchens are going to come with a fridge outside. This isn't a 12-volt fridge. It is plugged into a receptacle, which you may not be able to see. But if the fridge ever wasn't working, you might just want to check that it is still plugged in. Some outdoor kitchens are also going to come with a sink, similar to this one. With this one, it does have a quick connect as well, similar to the other ones we've seen on this trailer. So you'll just leave this guy in there, or you can always leave it on, but it's just a quick connect as well. Just pop that in place, and then you pull it back to pop it out.
So does that sink there, does it drain into the trailer then, or?
So this one doesn't, some do. Some will actually drain right into your gray water tank, some don't. Some are gonna be just like a bucket that when you're washing your hands or doing any dishes or something like that out in the outdoor kitchen, you're just gonna need to throw that water in a bucket or pour it down the toilet or something like that. This one is kind of a little bit different, where you have a tank and it kind of seems like it's plumbed, but when you look over here, it's actually got the drain down here. So what I'd recommend is maybe putting a bucket down here and it'll drain into that, or it can just go into the ground. It's not going to be very dirty water, so but if you're using your sink and you're running, why it's kind of coming back up into it, it's because the line is filled and it's coming back into the sink. So you'll just need to open this up before you start using it. Actually, why don't we talk about the stairs right now? So these are the solid step stairs. Some units will come with the stairs that pull out. The biggest difference is this one. These ones are solid step and they'll fold right into the trailer. They'll kind of sit inside the door frame. So what you want to do with these ones is you're going to pick them up and push them in, and you'll hear them lock in place, and it's going to be held by this side right here. And you can kind of give it a pull. It's not going to move anywhere. You'll close the door when you're traveling, and then when you're ready to go, you're at a campsite, you just pull this back and you pull the stairs with this handle and you bring them down. Another nice feature with the solid steps is that you can adjust them as well. So underneath here, they're all a little bit different. Some have a pin style, but some are similar to these, where you just put your hand. She'll come over here to this one. Put your hand on there, and you can bring the legs of the stairs out as far as you want to adjust to the ground that you're on.
Now, do you have to make sure the door is fully open before you pull the stairs up?
Yeah. So this unit with the solid steps, if you have the door kind of on an angle like this, and you're gonna bring the stairs in, you're gonna hit the door. So you want to make sure that the door is all the way open before you're taking them out or putting them in. And I think another important thing with these ones is that you do kind of check when you put them in here that they have locked in place, and you didn't just kind of bring them up to here and let them sit, because they'll bounce around a little bit. Another nice feature with these ones too, if you had an issue and you couldn't get them open because you're too close to a tree or something like that, you can pop these pins out as well and just take the stairs right out of place, and then you can get into a trailer if you had set steps. Like a deck or something like that too is another possibility. I think that's everything here.
Maybe go over the deadbolt versus the door lock.
Yeah, so if you want to just zoom in here. So on the inside of the trailer, this is going to be your deadbolt, similar to in a house. When you lock that, you're not going to be able to open the door at all. But on trailers, what you have is you have a door handle lock right here, so you can lock that one. But then you have the door or the deadbolt spot right here. So if you deadbolt that, only your key is going to be able to get into it, and you're going to have to unlock that before you go into the trailer. I usually recommend to deadbolt the door when you're towing, because sometimes if you do the door handle and you close the door and you even put the grab handle across it, sometimes you hit a good bounce or a good pothole or something like that, the door can pop open. So I definitely recommend deadbolting the door before you start towing somewhere. And with new trailers and all trailers really, you should have a couple backup manual cranks in here, and with a lot of units you're going to get two. You're going to get one that does if you have an electric stabilizer, you're going to get an electric stabilizer backup crank, which is this one here. It's usually the smaller one. And then you also have a crank for the manual stabilizers. This unit has manual stabilizers. Some new units are going to come with electric ones, so they might be a little different than this, but that socket's going to fit right on there. And if you ever didn't have power or the jacks are malfunctioning, then you can use this backup crank to get them up and get to where you need to go, kind of thing. With the crank, it is a 3/4 inch socket, so usually what I recommend is to just get an electric cordless drill, and you can put a 3/4 inch socket on there and go down and up with these. It's a little bit faster than using the crank. Something that's really important with these is that they're just stabilizers. They're not meant to level the trailer or take a lot of weight. They will break if you put them down, you start cranking up the trailer and using it to level the trailer. So you just want to basically put them down far enough that they touch the ground and kind of take the bounce out of the trailer. Something else that's important with these is that if you were to use them to level the trailer, it's going to kind of throw off the frame of the trailer and adjust the walls and stuff like that. So sometimes if you have slides and stuff, you might have leaks because you've tried to level the trailer and you kind of twisted the frame a little bit leveling it with these versus like doing it with blocks like the traditional way. So whether or not you use manual, if your trailer has manual stabilizers or electric, you just want to go down far enough that it hits the ground and kind of takes that bounce of the trailer. You don't want to crank them down and go up and take weight off the trailer, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. The tires and the front tongue jack are supposed to take all the weight of the trailer.
So like when you level the trailer, you're only supposed to use the tires with maybe leveling blocks or wood.
Yeah.
And only the jack, right?
Yeah, exactly. So usually what I'd recommend is if you're going to a campground, you back into a spot, you have your handy level, you put it on the bumper, you put it inside the trailer, or on the A-frame of the front of the trailer. You see if you're off, start side to side, because it's the harder one to fix, because front to back is really easy with the tongue jack. So if you're off a little bit side to side, pull forward, put some leveling blocks down like you said, or some wood, back onto those, check your level. If you're level side to side, and then go up and down with the front tongue jack that we looked at the front to level front to back.
And if you do level it, trying to, like, let's say put cinder blocks on different parts of the trailer, what will happen?
I recommend using a professional to do leveling that way. If you're using cinder blocks, you need to know what you're doing, right? So You don't want to adjust anything that the trailer came with from the factory. You don't want to twist anything. You don't want to jack up parts of the trailer that aren't meant to be jacked up. So I definitely recommend using a professional to level your trailer if you're at a seasonal site.
Yeah, and that could, like you said before, affect the different aspects of the trailer, like the doors might not work properly.
Yeah,
or
exactly. If
cabinets
you're jacking up in different points of the trailer and you have it in that position and then you go away for the weekend, say you are doing it weekend and week out kind of thing, and you're jacking up different parts, eventually maybe your doors might not line up, you're not going to be able to close your doors, your slides are going to be crooked, that kind of thing. It's very important when you're using your trailer and you do have slides that the trailer is as level as possible, because when you're putting out those slides, if it's on an angle, then the slide's going to have a lot of weight going one way versus the other. So you definitely want to, when you get to a site, try and make sure your trailer is as level as possible before you start getting in there and using it.
Yeah, and water can get into the slide too if it's not leveled properly. It's not designed to. So generally, you'd recommend that the main and pretty much only way you should be leveling the trailer is through the side to side using blocks on the wheels and the jack at the front, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's just about it on the outside of the trailer. And the first thing I'm going to start with is some of the safety features in the trailer. So you're going to have your fire extinguisher right here. Typically it's going to be near the kitchen or near the door, so you have quick access to it, similar to any other fire extinguisher. Pull the pin and then point in your direction that you want to extinguish. In here we have, it's a 12 volt fridge in this unit. So some are going to be gas electric, some are going to be just 12 volts. This one's very simple to use. Just if you're adjusting the temperature, you just use this dial here. And then if you want it colder or a little bit warmer and it's freezing your food, then you just adjust it like that. Really nothing too complicated there. Over here, we have our gas cooktop, and all of the units are going to come with gas cooktops that we have. Typically, you're going to need to turn your propane on at the front first and give it a couple minutes to like get the gas flowing back here. And then you're going to turn it on. If you come a little bit closer, this system's actually kind of got a safety feature, so then when you turn it on, you can start hearing the gas come out right now, but it's going to have a red light, red LED, and that's to let you know that it is still on. And like it could be hot kind of thing, right? Or you have gas coming out. And then with this unit, similar to a lot of other ones, you're going to have a sparker, or like a right here, and that's going to do all 3 burners as well as the oven and the inside. And there's actually a portion right here on this dial that you put it in like the light position. You're going to use the striker and it's going to light your propane, and you're going to have to be able to adjust that right here for cooking and stuff like that. With the propane for the oven, what you're going to do is there's a pilot light, and you're going to turn it on. You're going to put it in this position, and you're going to have to push in while you hit that striker. You'll see your pilot light come on, and then you can adjust your temperature to whatever you like.
You make sure the door is open in the oven.
It doesn't have to be open. It can be open or closed. It's just a little easier way to see like the pilot light, right? And then with this one, it actually has like a little blue LEDs that'll be on when you're not using it. Again, when you turn it on, it's going to go red to let you know that it's on. And then if you push it down one more, that'll be your light inside your oven there. Similar to any other ones in a house, you have your light and your vent fan. Microwave, same as at home kind of thing, nothing too new there. And then over here, it's going to be different on every unit to where the positioning of it is, but you should have some kind of speaker system. And it's very similar to any speaker system you've seen before in a car or anything like that. You're just going to come over here. You can use Bluetooth, connect it to the radio, or any other, like a USB or an HDMI port or an aux port as well to use that. So consult your manual if you're trying to connect to it for Bluetooth and anything else like that. This unit also has a electric fireplace, so that's not going to be gas. So a way to heat your trailer is the furnace or that. So this is just electric, so you'll need to have power from like the shore power, right? But you're not gonna be able to use a battery for that. And there should be a remote inside the trailer for you to turn that on and off and adjust the temperature there.
Now, will the fireplace heat the trailer? Is that enough to heat the trailer?
It's good to take the chill out of the trailer on maybe the chillier spring and fall months. It's not gonna heat the trailer very quickly. It's more just of like a spatial heat. If you leave it on and you left all the doors open, eventually it would heat the whole trailer, but it's not as efficient as the furnace would be. And then over here, one important thing on this unit that's it's not on every unit, but this one is it has 360 swivel vents that you can open and close. When you're doing this, you just got to be a little bit careful you don't break the fins, and that's in the closed position. That way you can have like all of your air forced to your bedroom, for instance, in the summertime when you're using your AC system. But you just want to be careful with that so you don't break those fins, and you can twist it around whatever direction you want. This trailer has recliners that also have heat and massage on them as well. So you can just use these buttons on the side. This is plugged into like a 110 volt outlet. So similar to any of the other appliances in the trailer, you're going to need to be connected to shore power. Unless you have a solar system with an inverter, then there's a possibility of doing it. But there is quite a good power draw on some of these appliances. So just keep that in mind.
What does this button do here?
So that one, it kind of looks like Wi-Fi, but that's the massage, and then that one's the heat.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you also have a USB port in this unit and a 110 receptacle here. So if you need to plug any devices in there, that's a good spot to do that. And then, do you want me to take the table down?
Sure.
Yeah. So in this unit, they're all a little bit different. This uses the 2-post system. So the easiest way I find to do it is to get underneath here and then lift up, put it in this position so you can kind of hold it and take these out. And you can just put your post to the side, and then you just take this guy here. Might be even a little bit easier to put these guys on the ground, and then pick this up. Pick this side up so you can see the spot where you're going to lay the table. And just put it like that. Lay it in place. Bring these two here. Put that down. And then you have another bed inside your trailer as well. Another nice feature in this trailer is they do have storage underneath the seats. Not all trailers will have this, but this one does. And it does actually come with totes as well. So a good place to put those posts when you're not using them when it's in the bed position.
And you can probably just leave it there, but when you put it back, you just put the things back, the legs back in the holes, and then put the table on top, right?
Yeah, exactly. You just move the cushions out of the way, put the table in another safe position, put the poles back in, and then just line them up and put it down on top. Another important feature in any home and in a trailer is a smoke detector. It does use a 12-volt battery, so obviously, a 9-volt battery. You just want to check that, same as in your house. Make sure that it's going to work for you and your battery's not dead. You'll see vents and stuff in the trailer. This trailer has venting for the furnace through the floor vents, as well as this another vent right here. So you'll feel heat coming out of there, and then your AC system is going to be ducted through the ceiling in this unit. So.
And this is the AC in this unit right here.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I'm glad this one has it over here if you want to zoom in here. Because there are a few units in the trailer that are a large power draw, there's actually a switch to tell you which one you want to use. You'll never be using typically the fireplace and the air conditioner at the same time, right? So sometimes you'll see like air conditioner and microwave or fireplace and microwave. It's because those draw a lot of power. So when you're hooked up to 30 amps of power, you can run a lot of the systems in the trailer, but if you're running all of them all at once, you might trip a breaker. So this kind of alleviates that issue. So if you're using the AC, it's pointed in that direction. If you want to use the fireplace, you point it in that direction.
But I can still use the fireplace for ambient light.
I don't believe so. If you don't have it in that position, I don't think you can
Is that
use.
gonna work? Okay.
No, because it basically shuts off that plug that it's drawing from there. Follow me over here. One of the most important systems in the trailer is your control panel. They all are a little bit different. It's going to have your slide buttons on it typically, and then all of your tanks and your battery and some lights sometimes, that kind of thing. So you have your slide buttons here, very simple, just in and out. We'll do that at the very end of the video. also your awning as well, and your hot water tank. So this one is that gas electric, right? So if you're using it on gas, you'll use this button here, and if you wanted to use it on electric, you use this one here. And then you'll have also your water pump switch on here as well, so make sure that fresh tank's full, and then you turn on your water pump, and after a couple seconds, you'll start to pressurize the system. You'll have pressurized water at all the taps. Another important thing with this is that it does have all of your tank levels here. So your fresh tank, it'll tell you if it's empty or if it's a third or 2/3 full or full, as well as your black and your grays, and then your battery as well. It actually will tell you how much charge your battery has. With your black and grays, some units on the control panel come with, say this one says it has 2 blacks and 2 grays. Your unit might not typically have 2 blacks and 2 grays, but it's wired for it. So if you wanted to add it in the future, you could. You wouldn't need to mess around with the electrical system. It's all pre-wired underneath the trailer. So it may not have 2 black tanks, so just kind of keep that in mind, that if you're pressing this one, it always says empty, then it's probably not there. It's probably just like wired for it, if that makes sense. Another system here is your thermostat, and this one's very simple to use, similar at home. You just put it on cool or heat if you're using the AC or the furnace. You can also just have it in the fan position, so just to blow air around the trailer. And then you can adjust the fan speeds, and you just adjust your temperature on there like that. Very simple to use. And then down here on all the trailers, they're going to come with a CO detector. And this one is in this position. Sometimes it can be all around the trailer, typically low near your feet on a wall. And with that, the important thing is that you have a battery disconnect, or you disconnect your battery from the trailer yourself. And that's because this CO detector is always running. So after a few days, it's going to draw all the power from your battery if it's parked at your house, and then you're going to have a dead battery when you go to use your trailer. So important to turn off the battery or disconnect it from the trailer, otherwise it's going to draw until it's dead. All right, and then in this trailer, I'll start over here. And what I was talking about before is your GFI plugs. And so typically, not always, but your reset switch is going to be inside the bathroom. And you'll just, similar to at a house, in your bathroom or your kitchen, you'll just reset that and just push it if it has tripped any of those GFI plugs. Another nice feature with our Venture products is it does have a Bluetooth leveling system. And basically just push this button to connect it to your phone, and you can use the app that comes with the trailer to adjust, and you can see how far the trailer is off level-wise, side to side and front to back.
So it doesn't automatically do that, but it can help you do it.
It's not an automatic leveling system. Some trailers do have that. They're typically larger fifth wheels with a hydraulic system that are very complex. This basically just allows you to take your level, or not even have to bring a level with you. You'll have basically a digital level on your phone. So it makes it a little bit easier when you're adjusting stuff outside, backing on the wood and stuff like that. And then another really important feature, and you make sure you know where this is in your trailer. It's always different. It's never in the exact same spot on every trailer. It's your fuses and your breaker panel. And you'll just pull that out. On this side you have your breakers, and they should all be labeled to tell you what they are and what they're powering. And then you'll have your fuses here as well. You will hear when the trailer is running, there might be a little bit of noise. That's because there's a fan inside here. So if you heard a fan and you're wondering what it is, it's probably your breakers and switches, just to keep it cooled and nothing overheats kind of thing. Another nice feature with the new trailers is when you have a fuse, so I just took one out so that way the connection isn't there, so it's basically saying that there is a break in the fuse. So if you're using your trailer and something's not working, you come to your breaker panel and you see all your fuses and one of them has a red LED light, that's going to tell you that that fuse is probably blown or is not working anymore. Sometimes the contact on the fuses may not be ideal, so you might need to adjust that. I recommend having a technician look at that because it is a live system and it could be dangerous kind of thing. And then one other thing inside your trailer, typically if you're in your bedroom, the master bedroom, you're going to have a position to mount the TV. There should be a sticker telling you where to put it. This isn't necessarily the best way to go about it. You actually want to kind of feel behind or use a stud finder to make sure that you do have a backing plate there, because sometimes the sticker won't be in the exact spot that the backing plate is. So just make sure before you mount the TV or you have us do it, that you make sure that there is a backing plate there. Then you have your connection for your TV as well as a receptacle to plug it in. Another thing that's important that not all TVs have is if you do have a satellite dish hooked up on your trailer, it will have a satellite port at the main TV in the living room, but not necessarily in the bedroom. So it's just pre-wired for like the over-the-air channels kind of thing in the bedroom. You might need to do a little bit of configuring to get a satellite inside your bedroom. So I'm at the control panel here. I'm going to bring one of our slides in. Most important when you're putting out your slides or putting them in is that the trailer's level, because that's going to make sure that the slide comes in level and it doesn't get crooked and stuff like that. It's also very important when you're putting your slide out or in to put it all the way out or all the way in. You don't want to stop it in the middle. Some slides have electrical systems and mechanical systems that count the revolutions as it's going out. So if you stop it in the middle, it sets it to 0. And then if there's a little bit of weight on one side or the other, that's when it might go crooked. So you definitely want to try and keep the trailer level as best you can and put the slide all the way out and all the way in. It's best practice. So we'll bring this slide in right now. Most important thing when you're bringing the slide in is that before you do it, you check that there aren't any cabinet doors open or anything else that might get in the way of the slide and potentially break off kind of thing. And then in this slide system, it's going to come all the way in up until the island, and then you should hear like yeah. So you saw that it kind of just stopped. They stop on their own. We'll put it out as well because it'll allow you to hear the point at which you stopped the slide. Some you're gonna hear like a click at the very end. You basically just want to hold it until you know it's stopped and it's not moving any further. And this one will make kind of a thud noise. It's supposed to do that. That's when you stop because it's the gearing missing kind of thing. So that noise right there, that's when you want to stop. Not all of them are going to sound like that. Some are just going to stop. Some are going to have like a click noise that when they stop, but that's the point at which you want to stop your slide.
What happens if you keep going?
Nothing bad if you keep going. It's basically just takes the gear out of position. It's going to miss, but you want, as soon as you hear that, to just kind of stop as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching our orientation video today. I hope this helps you in kind of learning how to use your new trailer. And if you do have any questions, don't hesitate to call our dealership. We'd be happy to help. But this should kind of give you a rough idea of how to use some of the systems inside your trailer. Thank you so much.